What a fun day it has been. There's still one more interview left. Matter of seconds, we're going to be joined by Anthony Smith coming off that huge win over Volkan Oezdemir in beautiful Moncton, New Brunswick. And then we shall wrap things up, and then it will be the post show. And by the way, this week on the post show, we have a special guest joining us in studio, my good pal, my mate, my colleague over at ESPN, Chamatkar Sandhu, who has stopped by in the past but has never been on the show as a guest. He's been on the show as a caller. He has stopped by as a guest when we were doing the old show, but now he is actually on as an actual guest, as an actual person in studio. So that will be for the post show. But for now, let us wrap up today's program with the man who had the massive win over in New Brunswick on Saturday night, Anthony Smith, submitting Volkan Oezdemir with the rear naked choke. What a performance. What a post-fight interview. Let's talk to him now via the magic of Skype. Anthony, how are you?
I'm good, Ariel. How are you?
I'm really well, and I apologize for my tardiness today. We got a little backed up with all the people in studio, so I appreciate your patience. Congratulations. You're back home?
Yes, I am. I'm home.
How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. A little bit banged up. I'm a little sore, but I'll take the win. I'll take the soreness with it.
Have you ever felt that way after a win? It seemed like not only were you banged up and sore, but also physically exhausted as well.
No, man. I don't know what happened. I think I had a little bit of an adrenaline dump, like in the third round when we really got to bang, and I think that I got a little bit excited, and I left everything I had in that choke. You hear guys a lot talk about not wanting to blow their wad on a submission and letting stuff go, and I'm just a risk taker, man. I just take risks, and I knew that if he got out of that choke, that it was going to be a bad deal. But I was going to leave every single ounce of strength I had left was in that choke.
What were you thinking going into the third? Were you thinking, okay, this fight isn't going my way? He's clearly winning the fight. I had heard some people say like, oh, this was all part of the game plan. What were you actually thinking? What were your coaches telling you going into that third?
They were. I think Mark Montoya was a little bit upset with me as far as my output was going, but it was pretty much going exactly how I thought it was going to go going into the third. So in the third round we got a little bit of a firefight and it just started kind of throwing down, which wasn't in the plan at all. But the first two rounds went pretty close to how I thought it was going to.
Did he seriously hurt you at any point in those first two rounds?
No, not at all. I honestly was expecting a little bit more heat. But I did a good job of kind of rolling with a lot of those punches, and I stayed safe. I kept my feet moving for the most part. I wish I would have been a little bit more. I don't know how to explain it. The game plan was to make him work, and I think I did a little bit too much of letting him work. I think that there's a difference in those two things, and I don't think that I didn't bring it to him enough.
Okay. In the third round, though, it did seem like he was also getting tired. I'm assuming you noticed that, right?
Yeah, that was the whole plan, and then it kind of all went out the window when we kind of started throwing down, and I got tired too. The idea was to get him that tired,
right,
and for me to continue to be fresh like I was through the first two. But once we started throwing down, that he did kick me in the body at the end of the second round, and that definitely took a little bit of steam off me for sure.
When you took him down in the third, he completely gave you his back. Were you surprised that it happened that easily and quickly?
No. That's kind of my world, that side control to the turtle, to the back take, to the rear naked choke. I mean,
Yeah.
You can ask any of my training partners, man. That's just kind of my world. Once you're there, that's just kind of what I'm going to do.
But it just seemed like he didn't just go. I mean, you obviously clearly took him down. The way you changed levels was very impressive, especially considering how tired you were. But it's like I felt like he kind of gave it to you right away, as opposed to trying to fight off his back for a second.
You mean he gave up his back?
Yeah.
That's just how he gets up. All the tape that I've seen, anytime he gets taken down, he'll go to that turtle position and then just expects to stand up from there. And that's kind of what I was expecting.
In your mind, though, are you saying like, this is my chance? I have to go full in on this. This is my chance to get rid of this guy?
Yeah, I was kind of going down my check down list a little bit, and once I realized that I was starting to get tired too, I knew that I had to sell out in that position because I didn't know if I was going to have another one like that again.
So it's like it seemed like you went for the rear naked. He got out briefly, then you went back for it again. Of course, he taps. And then, like, you couldn't even move. I saw the doctors come to you, the referee come to you. What are you feeling in that moment? You get the win. You're exhausted. You know that you probably had to go all in. He ends up tapping. I would imagine it's like a mix of jubilation, exhaustion, pain. How would you describe it?
As soon as the ref, kind of pulled me off, I was having a hard time taking deep breaths. It really had a little. It was less to do with me being exhausted, and more to do with like my ribs were just killing me. It wasn't even like I got hit in the liver. It was just he just checked my ribs so hard that my body like wouldn't let me take a full deep breath. So it took me a little while to kind of get that back.
Wow. And you couldn't even walk out on your own, right?
No, my leg's pretty banged up.
How is it feeling right now?
Like.
Okay. Any serious injuries?
I got to get an X-ray. As soon as I'm done with you, I got to go get an X-ray on my right hand. But
okay.
I mean, my leg is just bruised. I thought we had the leg kick issue kind of shored up after I fought Hector, but apparently we need to go back to the drawing board on that one.
I loved the post-fight interview. My name is Anthony Smith, and I want a title shot. That was great. Did you think of that in the moment, or was that part of the plan?
No, if you go back and look when I fought Josh Neer, my last fight before I got back in the UFC, that's exactly what I said to Dana White. My name is Anthony Smith, and I want another shot.
Oh, wow. Do you feel like you're going to get it?
I think so. I just don't know what else I would have to do. I finished 2 former champions pretty quickly. Like if everyone talks as bad about them as they do, then I think I did exactly what I should have done to them. And I just took out the number 2 guy, and the number 1 guy is fighting for the title against Jon Jones. And I think we can fairly call DC a heavyweight now. So right. I don't know who else is in front of me, and I know that I've already been seeing it all day, that the narrative is that there's a big gap between DC, Jon Jones, and Alexander Gustafsson and the rest of the division. But I think people are looking at it wrong. The question isn't how you think I would do against whoever the champion is. I think the question is have I earned it? I think that I'm the one that needs to worry about how I would fare against whoever ends up winning the title. I think that's for me to worry about. I think what people really need to pay attention to is have I done what I needed to do to deserve a title shot, and I think I have.
A few fans wrote to me, ask Anthony why he would deserve it over Jan Blachowicz, who I think has won 4 in a row at 205. I'm sure you've seen that to a degree. Any response to that?
How many of those are finishes?
Right. Okay.
That's a pretty easy. Who else is going to be a valid threat? I mean, I believe Gustafsson's already beat Blachowicz, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty fair to say that Jon Jones is better at what Jan does well than he is, and I think that I'm the legitimate threat to a finish.
What a year, man! You started this year, losing in Belém. Right? Who could have ever thought, here we are, end of October, and we're talking about this, and with a straight face, like it's not a joke. Like you're legitimately on the cusp of this title shot. This has to be somewhat surreal for you, right?
Yeah. Once I decided to go to 205, I knew that this was possible. But this sport is so crazy, you never know what's going to happen. So, I'm just grateful that I made the move, and I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've been given. None of this would be possible if I didn't take advantage of those opportunities. But at the end of the day, this whole sport is about getting opportunities, and you got to make the best of them.
I'm sure it's about confidence as well, right? I mean, when you're feeling it, when you're feeling good about yourself, I would imagine you've never felt this confident before as far as your fighting is concerned.
No, I think that my confidence is an all-time high. And I think things are just clicking. I say whatever you want about the fight, but I got the win over the number 2 guy in the world. Like, maybe it's not always the prettiest. You know what I mean? I'm just not that type of fighter. They're not all going to be pretty, and they're not all going to be clean. But God damn it, I'm getting wins, and I don't know what anyone else could ask for. Like, I'm doing what I got to do to win, and it's sometimes it's ugly, and sometimes I look like doing it, but I'm figuring it out, and that's where the confidence is coming in. Like, I'm not getting discouraged. Like, even when I'm down a little bit or not going my way, I just know I can figure it out.
I'm sure you get a kick out of the fact that a lot of people are like, oh, the new kid on the block, things like that. You've been around this game for so long, right? I'm sure part of you is like, where have you guys been this whole time? But in their defense, you've never put together a streak like this against this kind of opponent, right? This quality of opponent. So it does feel like a 2.0 or even maybe a 3.0, if you will.
Yeah. I see people talk about my losses all the time, like, oh, he's got 13 losses or whatever. But like, I feel like that was a lifetime ago. So I almost feel like I kind of am the new guy. Like, if you were to ask me, I feel like my actual record is like 15-2. Like, I feel like that previous time before, it feels like it's a totally different lifetime. Like I was a different person. And so, to be fair, their criticisms are real, and people kind of, not really knowing anything about me or whatever. That's fair. That some of that's my fault, because I have had opportunities in the past and didn't take advantage of them.
What's really cool about it is to see how happy the MMA community is for you. Like, everyone recognizes you as a good guy. Do you see that as well? Like, we can argue about, oh, does he deserve it or not? But this is one of the best stories of the year, what's happening to you. And it seems like everyone recognizes it and is genuinely happy for you, which I think is a really cool thing. Not something that you see all the time in sports.
Yeah, I do see that, man. I kind of feel like I feel like I'm like the spokesperson for the regular dude right now, like regular people, like blue collar, lunchbox carrying type of guys, like, are really enjoying rooting for me. And I really enjoy, like, because I feel like I'm one of them, you know what I mean? Like, I've never changed. I'm still the lunchbox carrying dude to work, and just seeing people follow the journey. I see messages on Twitter and Instagram all the time that people will post talking about how they were fans of me back in Strikeforce and they always knew I could do it. Like, that's really cool that people even noticed back then.
So you think you get the next shot? What does your heart tell you right now? How do you see this playing out?
I do. I set all the other stuff aside. Who's going to sell it? You know what I mean? I hate to put it out there like that, but look what I'm doing, like, what else can you ask for as a fan? Like, I'm doing everything that the UFC's asked me to do. I've gone to every country they've asked me to go to. I've stepped in anytime they've asked me to. And I think that the fans appreciate that, but at the same time, and it does matter, the UFC appreciates that. And I think that whoever wins, I think it makes for a good story.
Are you hoping Jon wins?
I am.
Yeah. That's the bigger fight, right?
Yeah. That's the bigger stakes. That's the fight that I think that deep down any real competitor wants. I have confidence, and I feel it deep in my soul that I can beat Jon Jones, but I might not be able to, and that's what I want. Like, that's the shit that I need to drive me. I need that. I need that factor of the unknown, of what's, like, who knows what's going to happen.
Most importantly, how do my fellow Canadians treat you?
I'm telling you, Ariel, it was amazing.
Really?
I was so shocked at how many fans I had in Canada.
Wow.
When my music hit the speakers and I walked out, people were going insane. I couldn't believe it.
That's incredible.
And then when Oezdemir came out, they booed him. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts, man. I was really blown away at how many fans I had, and all week long it was like that. I couldn't even go and get coffee without, taking 50 pictures, man. And I took every single picture that anybody asked for, man. I genuinely enjoyed every second of it.
I've never been to Eastern Canada, but I heard it's beautiful. I hear the people are great as well, so I'm happy to hear that. I usually, when the UFC goes to a place for the first time, it's a big deal. Everyone's genuinely excited, but you never quite know how it's going to catch on. So that makes me feel good. I'm not surprised. Canadians are the nicest people on earth, but I'm happy to hear that. And yes, I like that you called it your second home.
Say what?
I like that you called it your second home in the post-fight interview.
That's how it felt, man. I felt really, really at home. Like, I felt like I was the home team. I don't know why that is, and I think it just goes back to people being genuinely refreshed at someone who's there's just no bullshit with me. I just go out there and I just try so damn hard, and I think that that's really what pulls people into me. It's max effort. It's not the prettiest all the time, but God damn it, I try harder than anybody else in the entire division.
Well, let me just add, this has been a weird year for MMA. There's been a lot of, kind of ugly and at times embarrassing things. your story is one of the very best, and I think you've reminded us all why we love this sport so much, because people like you, regular people who are just hardworking, who are able to overcome and keep taking hits but keep coming back. I mean, your story is straight out of a movie, what's been happening to you over the last few months, especially how this year started. I mean, you can't even talk about the year without, talking about the loss back in February. It's unbelievable. Genuinely happy for you. Congrats on all your success. I hope you get that title shot, man. And what a performance on Saturday. That fight almost is like a microcosm of your career as well. You're kind of beaten up in the beginning, you find a way, and then here you are, beaten up, exhausted on the ground, but victorious and getting the last laugh. So kudos to you, Anthony. I hope the doctor appointment goes well. And again, sorry for being late here today and keeping you waiting. That wasn't my intention, but I appreciate you stopping by. And tell the people, by the way, you can see me right now, right? You can actually see me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This is a new thing. Yes.
This is nice. I feel like we're having a real conversation. The last 2 times I wasn't able to see you, so this is cool.
Yes, awesome. Well, I'm really happy for you. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Ariel. As always, man, I really appreciate the support. Without people like you, my story doesn't get out there, so I really appreciate you guys.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. All the best, Anthony.
Take care, man.
All right, there he is, Anthony Smith, Lionheart Smith. What a great guy. What can you say about that guy? I mean, it's unbelievable. What a story. He has, in my opinion, he has truly put together one of the best stories of 2018. A feel-good story, if you will. Some weird things have happened this year. Obviously, some ugly incidents, some ugly rhetoric at times. Some moments that I think we're all not very proud of in our sport, but stories like that, I mean, that's why we love MMA. That's a great thing. So wish him the best, and looking forward to seeing what the UFC does with him next. Okay, and did you notice that? I didn't make a big deal about it with the Ben Askren interview, but all of you, see, baby steps, my friend. We got the Skype going. My man Nick in the back. All we needed to fix our Skype problems, apparently, was New York Rick leaving, and everything's been fixed. Skype is crystal clear. The people can actually see me. Could you imagine? Wow, that's unbelievable. Everything's going to change. When we have Derek Lewis on next, he's going to be blown away. Ali Quinta, blown away. They're all going to be blown away. Baby steps, my friends. And bigger things are happening as well. Trust me on this. Bigger things. Stay tuned. But for now, I will leave you with that. It has been a great day. Soon to come, post-show. We're going to tape that as we say goodbye over here. You can hit my music, guys in the back. We still have a lot to discuss as far as this past week is concerned, but what a fun day it has been here today. Having 3 in-studio guests, the champ, Daniel Cormier, Tyler Minton, Israel Adesanya. Wow, what a day. Amazing. Getting to talk to Demetrius Johnson, getting to talk to Ben Askren. Yes, Malki Kawa was super late, but still getting his thoughts on the trade. Anthony Smith. This has been one of my favorite shows since we moved over here to ESPN. It's been a really great day. And we're going to be talking about the trade in the post-show. We're going to be talking about Moncton, of course. There's a lot more to discuss, and we'll look ahead to UFC 230. Frankie Edgar is out of the Colorado event, the 25th anniversary event. Yair Rodriguez is in. What else? Oh, there's a press conference this Friday, as we talked about a little bit with Daniel Cormier. So there's a lot more to discuss with Sandu coming up in the post-show. But for now, we shall say goodbye. I want to thank everyone who stopped by. I want to thank everyone who tuned in. Thank you very much to Ben Askren. Welcome to the UFC. Thank you very much to Demetrius Johnson. Welcome to One Championship. Thank you very much to Malki Kawa. Congratulations on the big transaction. Thank you so much to Daniel Cormier and the UFC for bringing him by. Thank you very much to Tyler Minton. Thank you very much to Israel Adesanya. And all the best and congratulations to one Anthony Smith. Back next week, same time and place. Till I say peace. I'm out of here.